Okay, so I don't really have a goal for this TikTok, but occasionally something random strikes me, and this is what today's random thing is. Alright, so I have an Intel Arc A770 as my video card. It's one of the 16 gig models, and in general, it's a pretty decent card for the money. Recently, I started playing Once Human, and Once Human has had several issues in regards to performance and some other things. So I had a ton of stutters, and I'm sure people may be encountering the same thing, as a lot of the time I'm not seeing any performance metrics for the A770. As you can see, it's not really a hugely CPU intense game, and it is utilizing 100% of the A770. Alright, so frame rate's pretty solid, and it runs pretty well, and I'm not getting stutters. Compared to when I was playing it earlier, I was finding that, depending on the server instability seems to be the big issue. So if you are having stutters with an A770, it might not be your card, it might actually just be the game's servers in general. I know they're going to work on some optimizations. Starry has talked about it in different developer streams, but yeah, so far the game's pretty fun. I think in general it looks really good. It's got some really interesting combat. And overall, I think if you have a budget card like the A770, it is going to be a perfect card to play something like this. Just to go over settings real quick. Alright, so I'm rocking a 1440p display, but if you have a 1080p display, you should be just fine. Honestly, you'll probably get a little bit of overkill on performance, and I could always downsample to that if I wanted to. As for video settings, we're looking at, I set it to high, and then from there, what I did is I've got this on. I don't actually know if the super resolution works just as super resolution. I know you have some settings, and typically I'll play with either quality or balanced. Balanced is kind of the one I typically go to, but right now I have it off, and I'm not sure if AMD is like kicking in to basically downsample it as I play or what. You can just turn this off, but it's weird because it does indicate that eventually XeSS is coming, but it's not there for some reason. And then texture quality high. You've got 16 gigabytes of video RAM. Like, dude, what are you doing? Just set it to high. Render scale 100%, so we're getting full 1440p. Anti-aliasing is set to low. Shade low. Visual effects middle. Draw distance high, because this is a game where draw distance benefits you quite a bit. VSync I have disabled, because I have a 165Hz display. If you have a 60Hz display, I would just set it to enabled, and then I would probably make the max frame rate 60. That way you're not going to run into too many tears. Detail set to high. Vegetation density, I have this set to low. I think the big ones set to low that really don't make that much of a difference in regards to visuals, in terms of like subjective experience, are going to be vegetation density and shade. Visual effects, I think in the middle is a perfectly fine choice. And motion blur, I could set it, but in general, I kind of don't like to play with motion blur unless the motion blur is pretty solid. And as far as I can tell in this game, I'm not seeing a lot of solid motion blur. So yeah, this is Once Human on the A770. As you can see, it's a fairly decently performing game for the card, and yeah, you're going to be pretty happy with it. It's a very affordable card nowadays compared to, going out and buying an NVIDIA fucking Apple priced thing.